This week we're looking at a fascinating vice list near the end of the book of Revelation, and it's part of a very interesting dichotomy of good and evil, righteous, holiness, and uncleanness. Let's start out with a little context. I'm going to read Revelation chapter 22, verses 10 and 11 from the ESV. And he said to me, "Do not seal up the words of the prophecy of this book, for the time is near. Let the evildoer still do evil, and the filthy still be filthy, and the righteous still do right, and the holy still be holy." So notice we have two distinct groups here, and they're described in terms of what they do and what they are. So the first group are those who are evildoers and who are filthy. That's the first group. They do evil and they are filthy. The second group are those who do right, the righteous who do right and are holy. So what they do and what they are. Two groups, the evildoers who are filthy and the right doers who are holy. Hold on to that thought and let us carry on and look at verse 14. "Blessed are those who wash their robes, so that they may have the right to the tree of life, and that they may enter the city by the gates." So what happens when you wash something? Generically, when you wash something, you make it clean, right? So if we're thinking about these two groups that we had back in verses 10 and 11, one of the groups you would classify as clean, and the other you would not. In fact, one is described as filthy, right? So the robe washers who are making their robes clean are the righteous, those who do right and who are holy. What happens to them? We're told that they have a right to access the tree of life, and they enter through the gates into the city. So they are literally the insiders. Those who do right and who are holy, who wash their robes, are declared to be the insiders. They enter in through the gates into the city. Now we're going to move on and look at the outsiders. This is in verse 15. "Outside are the dogs and sorcerers and the sexually immoral and the murderers and idolaters and everyone who loves and practices falsehood." Let's pick this apart in Koine. "Exo hoi kunes." Outside the dogs. We supply the to be. And outside are the dogs. And hoi pharmakoi, the magicians or sorcerers. Kai ho pornoi, the sexually immoral. Kai hoi phones, the murderers. Kai hoi idolatrai, the idolaters. Kai pas philon, kai poion, pseudos. And all or everyone who loves and does falsehood. Spectacular, powerful stuff. So initially, at first glance, we get this list of 5 specifics followed by kind of a catch-all summary. But one of these things is not like the others. Let's go back and talk about hoikunes, the dogs. What do we know about dogs? Not today, but in the ancient world. Today, people speak of their dogs as their children. Many people let their dogs sleep in the bed with them. Dogs are beyond domesticated. They're anthropomorphized to a ridiculous extent. And I'm a dog lover, and I have 2 dogs, so please don't beat me up over what I just said. But in the ancient world, dogs were presumed to be feral creatures, wild creatures, scavengers, opportunists who lived near the humans because it's an easy life. You can pick through the garbage, you can eat waste, there's a safer, easier existence. So think about that. If dogs are scavengers, and based on the list of clean and unclean animals in the Old Testament, these do not have, they're not ruminants, they don't have cloven hooves. These are unclean animals, okay? So let's go back to our notion of the dichotomy. We had those who did evil and who were filthy, and then we had those who did what was right and who were holy. And if you were going to sum up, then we talked about those who wash their robes as an example of those who do right and are holy. That's one half of the dichotomy. Then the other half is the filthy, the evildoers. The hoikunes, the dogs, are literally unclean, the filthy, right? And they make a magnificent umbrella for the category of the unclean. So then we're given, after that, we're given 4 specifics as examples. The dogs, well, who do you mean? Who are you talking about? Oh, he gives us these unclean outsiders in 4 examples. Let's look quickly at the 4 examples. Hoi pharmakoi, notice all 4 examples are in the masculine plural in the nominative case. So, hoi pharmakoi, the sorcerers, the magicians. Hoi pornoi, the sexually immoral. Some Bibles translate hoi pornoi as the prostitutes. There's a grammatical problem here. Prostitute, he porne, is a feminine noun. So if it were going to be prostitutes, it wouldn't be hoi pornoi, it would be hai pornai in the feminine plural. So the masculine noun, ho pornos, here hoi pornoi, is sexually immoral men or sexually immoral people as a catch-all. But not prostitutes. Prostitutes is a feminine noun. So hoi pornes, the murderers, and hoi idolatry, the idolaters. Notice all 4 of those things are nomen agentis, action nouns. They are nouns that are describe people who do a particular thing. You're only an idolater if you engage in idolatry. You're only a murderer if you engage in murder, right? Whereas hoikunes from kuon, you're born a dog, you live as a dog, and you die as a dog. It's a proper noun, the name of a person, place, or thing. So the introduction, the dogs, is an immutable characteristic. You are a dog. You can't change that. And at the point in the prophecy we're talking about, we've already said, let those who do evil, let those who are filthy remain that way. Let those who do what is right, the righteous who do what is right and who are holy remain that way. So we're past, in the prophecy, we're past the description, the time of choosing, right? But here we get this magnificent description, a proper noun, the dogs, and then we get 4 concrete examples of people who are like the dogs. But wait a minute, what about the liars? What about the thieves? What about the gossips? Aha, that's why he gives us this magnificent catch-all. Then he tells us, let's look at the catch-all. Kai pas philon, kai poion pseudos. And all or everyone, philon, who continually loves, it's a present active participle, kai poion, and continually does, another present active participle, pseudos, falsehood or falsity or lies. Everyone who continually embraces lies, like the concrete examples, the sorcerers, the sexually immoral, the murderers, the idolaters, and everybody else in that category, the filthy dogs, those who do evil and remain filthy, the outsiders, those are the ones who are all outside. Do you see the magnificence of how this language took a proper noun as the heading, gave 4 concrete examples to let the reader understand who falls under that umbrella, and then gives this wide sweeping catch-all summary at the end to say, don't worry, it's not just those 4, it's everyone who loves and does falsehood that are doing evil and remaining filthy that fall into the category of the dogs and are therefore on the outside and do not enter through the gates into the city and have access to the tree of life because they've not washed their robes, they're not doing what is righteous, and they're not holy through the blood of the Lamb, right? Powerful, magnificent stuff, intricately laid out using a vice list that starts with a proper noun, gives 4 action nouns, nomina gentis, that give concrete examples, and then sums it all up so that everyone who has not washed their robes and are now clean and holy and are inside the New Jerusalem, the new city, are with the dogs. In fact, they are the dogs outside. Spectacular. I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know by liking, sharing, subscribing. Leave me something in the comments so I know your thoughts on the matter. And until next time, Charis Kai Irene Humin, grace and peace to you.